The Confederate States of America, formed in 1861 by secessionist Southern states, entered the American Civil War with strong leadership, experienced officers, and deep regional pride. However, despite early battlefield successes and a highly motivated military, the Confederacy ultimately lost the war in 1865. Several key strategic miscalculations contributed to their defeat. Below are 7 of the most consequential mistakes made by the Confederacy during the Civil War. 1. Over-reliance on King cotton diplomacy. The Confederacy believed that its cotton exports would force Britain and France to support its cause. Southern leaders assumed that economic pressure, based on the European textile industry's dependence on cotton, would result in diplomatic recognition and possible military intervention. However, European powers found alternative cotton sources such as Egypt and India, and were unwilling to support a slaveholding regime. This miscalculation left the Confederacy diplomatically isolated. 2. Failure to centralize government power. In their zeal to protect states' rights, Confederate leaders created a government that lacked the centralized power needed to effectively wage a modern war. Southern governors often refused to send troops or supplies to the national cause, prioritizing their own states. This decentralization hindered coordination and weakened the Confederate war effort compared to the more unified Union structure. 3. Offensive military strategy. Under General Robert E. Lee, the Confederacy often pursued an aggressive, offensive military strategy, including 2 invasions of the North, Antietam in 1862 and Gettysburg in 1863. While bold, these campaigns strained Confederate resources and ultimately failed. A more defensive strategy, capitalizing on interior lines and home terrain advantage, might have prolonged the war and increased Northern war weariness. 4. Inadequate industrial base and infrastructure. The South entered the war with a weak industrial base, limited railroads, and inadequate manufacturing capacity. Unlike the North, which could produce weapons, ammunition, and other supplies on a massive scale, the Confederacy struggled to equip its armies. Poor logistics and transportation further compounded the problem, particularly as Union forces targeted rail hubs and supply lines. 5. Underestimating Northern resolve. Many Southern leaders believed that the North lacked the will to fight a prolonged war and that political divisions would eventually force the Union to negotiate peace. They underestimated President Lincoln's leadership, Northern industrial might, and public commitment to preserving the Union. As the war dragged on, it became clear that the North was not going to back down easily. 6. Failure to embrace emancipation strategically. The Confederacy not only fought to preserve slavery but also failed to use it strategically. It resisted arming enslaved African Americans until the war was nearly lost, while the Union turned emancipation into a moral cause with the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. This shift allowed the Union to recruit black soldiers and gain support from European anti-slavery movements, further isolating the Confederacy. 7. Poor use of naval strategy. The Confederacy never developed a coherent naval strategy. Although they had a few successes with commerce raiders and ironclads, they could not break the Union blockade that strangled Southern trade and supply lines. The lack of a strong navy allowed the Union to dominate the coast and rivers, cutting off vital regions and dividing the South. Conclusion. The Confederate States began the Civil War with confidence, military talent, and a belief in their cause. However, strategic errors, ranging from diplomatic overconfidence and governmental disunity to military misjudgments and industrial shortcomings, undermined their chances. While individual Confederate soldiers and leaders displayed courage and skill, these strategic blunders contributed decisively to the South's ultimate defeat.